Evening, Belize. It's Tuesday and you're watching News 5. I'm Sabrina Daly. Here's what's making headlines tonight. The Belize Tax Service is turning up the heat on tax defaulters, publishing a list of delinquent companies, and one funeral director isn't taking it lying down. Meanwhile, tensions boil over at the Carl Huchner Memorial Hospital, where 14 nurses and staff stage a sick-out over pension disputes. In the political arena, opposition Senator Patrick Faber is headed to trial after a heated run-in with police at a checkpoint back in April. And speaking of politics, Mike Parafit is back as UDP chairman, but can he really bring unity to a divided party? Plus, despite signs of economic growth, new research shows Belize remains the third poorest country in the Caribbean. What's holding us back? Those stories and more are coming up in the next 60 seconds. Stay with us.
You pay the bill?
Ma, I got the wallet.
So you could pay the bill now?
Yeah, I can show you.
Ah.
See? Easy.
Welcome back. The Belize Tax Service is turning up the heat, naming and shaming more than a dozen businesses for unpaid taxes in a bold public notice. But while the government is calling out defaulters, at least one business owner is calling foul. Andrew Munnings of Munnings Funeral Home says he's already in court, making payments and doing his part. So, why is he still being singled out? And beyond that, a bigger question is emerging. While the tax office demands what it's owed, what about the refunds it owes to everyday Belizeans? Tonight, we take a closer look at the growing tension between taxpayers and tax collectors and ask, is the system fair for everyone? Here's Paul Lopez with the following story.
The Belize Tax Service has issued a public notice putting more than a dozen businesses on blast for failing to pay their business taxes and GST. Among the biggest defaulters, Northern Fishermen Cooperative Society, Plexar Capital LLC, and Eco-Friendly Solutions Limited. According to Director General Michelle Longsworth, this isn't just a warning, it's the final call for those who've stayed silent on their tax debts. So what's next, and how serious is the crackdown?
What we're saying here is because all efforts have gone unresponsive by these taxpayers. We've done everything trying to collect from them, because it's important to know that none of these defaulters listed just received a bill out of nowhere with no warning. We tried working with them and we still continue to try, but they refuse to engage in meaningful discourse. So each one of them was afforded the rights all taxpayers receive: audit reviews, payment arrangements, dispute if they wanted to dispute any of the assessments, they were engaged.
Andrew Munnings, owner of Munnings Funeral Home, is firing back after his business appeared on the government's tax defaulters list. The Belize Tax Service claims he owes $182,000 in unpaid tax and GST. But Munnings says he's been in court over the issue and is making regular payments. In a social media post, he called the system unfair and said small businesses like his are being unfairly targeted.
I have seen the inside of a courtroom more than P did it right now, right? So when the director says that these are businesses that are non-compliant and businesses were not to pay and was start carried to court and everything, I'm like, what have I not been through with you all? I have an agreed court statement right now where I am paying the court, where I am paying court fee, and I am paying business tax and GST back tax, back tax, right? I am paying them $2,000 monthly. So what else do you want? I have made it clear. It is our duty as businesses to pay taxes, but let's be real, man. We're a 5-year business with over $200,000 in a back tax. That is ridiculous to me.
Director General Michelle Longsworth says the tax system relies on businesses to report their own earnings. She explained that under the law, it's a system based on voluntary compliance, meaning the responsibility starts with the business, not the tax office.
Remember, for business tax, there are different rates: 1.75%, 3%, 6%. It depends on the sector that you're in, the type of business that you owe. For GST, it's the 12.5% across the board. And that's different because remember the confusion here at times. GST is not a tax on business. GST is a consumer tax. Also, what needs to be clear is that business tax is paid on your gross, not on your profit, because there's this misconception that you pay business tax on your profit. That is so very wrong. It's on your gross. What we do when we do audits or when we do validation, we validate that what you submit to us was correct.
Andrew Munnings says when he first tried to register his business with the Belize Tax Service in 2021, he was told he didn't meet the threshold. But after officially registering in 2023, he was hit with a large tax bill. Now he's challenging how that amount was calculated, arguing it doesn't reflect how his business actually operates.
I'm not saying that we shouldn't pay tax. I mean, that is our duty and responsibility. Nobody never tell tax service we just don't want to pay tax. But it's how you go about doing stuff.
Yeah.
The last time we went to court, they took me to court for the closure of my business for 30 days. I had to reach a point and tell them, here, this just close it down permanently, please, because I am absolutely tired. I'm not at a stress point anymore with it, pal, because I can see clearly now that my business are not the only business where they go through all of this. But what I'm trying to say, man, if we could give tax break to big people with good fancy names, well, we can't do it to young, small, born Belizeans people. But my thing is, bro, my name is on that list. Me not feel shame about it as yet, because I work hard for what it is that I have and what I try give. I don't want nobody feel sorry for me. You know, I will pay my tax. Whatever they say I owe, I will pay it. Need to get me 2,000 monthly.
The tax debate isn't over just yet. Munning says he will keep paying the Belize Tax Service $2,000 a month as ordered by the court until his debt is cleared. But while his case continues, a new conversation is surfacing. What about the tax refunds the government owes to everyday Belizeans? That's right, while some are being called out for what they owe, others are still waiting on what they're owed.
What I will say here, I think that some people are being mischievous because we have a team of persons who monitor these comments on social media, and then they try to contact them to get the information of their employment, they put out there, we owe them from 2019, 2021. They put a lot of things out there, but when you try to contact these persons, you get no response. Or they just block you because at the end of the day, they're just being mischievous. And I can tell you, we have helped quite a few persons who have genuinely posted out there. And when you contact them, they give you their information and they can attest to the fact that they have been immediately paid their refund.
Longsworth says a similar list of tax defaulters was published in 2023. Reporting for News 5, I am Paul Lopez.
So here's something that might surprise a few folks, especially if you've got a side hustle going. Whether you're mowing lawns on weekends or catering events after hours, every dollar you earn needs to be declared to the Belize Tax Service. That's right, even those extra gigs count. While your main job might handle your income tax automatically, Director General Michelle Longsworth is reminding everyone that undeclared income, no matter how small, is still a legal issue. So, are you reporting all your earnings, or are you unknowingly breaking the law?
One of the things that we also would like to say is that taxes are on your total emoluments. We know in this day and age, many employees work multiple jobs. And I like to use the call centers as an example. Many employees work at multiple call centers. What happens is it does not mean that you submit one from a call center that you think you may get a refund. Because of electronic data we receive from all employers, and when it's combined, you may not be due a refund thinking that you should. It's not when it was paper-based and you could submit from one employer to get a refund, but you didn't submit from the other employer because you didn't want to pay your taxes. It's now real-time data, and it's important that people be honest in submitting their total emoluments. And I can tell you we have a lot of compliant taxpayers because you have many employees who would have, as you rightly said, maybe, let's use an example, a catering business. Maybe they cater food after. Those compliant taxpayers, they register for business tax because while they're paying their employee income tax that their employer takes out of their salary without them even seeing it, they also are compliant because they know they have a side business. They register for business tax and they pay their business tax on what they're making on their small catering business. So it's not everyone. We do have a high percentage of compliant taxpayers.
That is to say, basically, you should be paying tax on everything you make.
Correct. On everything you make, you should be paying your taxes.
A frivolous example, but if I go and cut a yard as a reporter, and I'm cutting yards, 2-3 yards for the weekend, and I make $50 a yard, I should be paying income tax on that.
You should be reporting that also.
Something unusual happened at the Carl Huchner Memorial Hospital today. 40 staff members, mostly from the dialysis unit, called in sick. Now, was this just a bad flu going around, or are we looking at a coordinated sickout? That's the big question tonight. Tensions are clearly high after hospital management released details of its latest pension proposal, leaving union members fuming. We spoke with KHMH Workers Union President Andrew Baird, who says when employees feel unheard and undervalued, it doesn't just affect morale, it affects their health too.
The first thing, we are entitled to be sick, and I called in sick this morning, and I was made to understand that there was some other staff who also were sick. I don't know what is their condition or so on, but at the end of the day, we are entitled to be sick, and we visit our physician. Our physician believes that we deserve bed rest or time off from work to recover, and that's the way it is. You know, I'm sorry that I get to find out that other people are sick, and I don't know if it affects the institution daily services, but that's what it is.
Would that letter from the hospital yesterday, would that have contributed to the sort of illness, be it physically or mentally, that some staff members are experiencing today?
We would have to ask that. In most cases, people decide not to disclose their sicknesses. You know, it's a confidentiality and thing. But certainly, when you have disgruntled people, it does affect them mentally and physically at work when certain conditions or situations are not in the best interest of the end staff. No?
When a group of people is out sick at one institution, business, operation, it kind of affects that business's ability or that institution's ability to operate. You concerned about that?
Well, that is a concern for the management at this time. Maybe I don't know. Maybe some bacteria or something is going around in the hospital. You know, that may create that the management need to figure that out.
Chief Executive Officer Chandra Cancino told News 5 that services went uninterrupted despite the sickout. She also noted that the hospital's management remains open to dialogue at the negotiating table. The KHMH Workers Union also issued a release late this evening in which it doubled down on voicing its disappointment with the latest proposal. The release says the union outrightly rejected it but remains committed to good faith dialogue. The Belize Bus Owners Association is raising a red flag over the government's push for a new national bus company. They say the idea sounds great. Modern buses, digital tickets, upgraded terminals. But there's but one big question. There's no plan to back it up. In a bold statement, the BBA, which represents 31 licensed bus operators, accused the Ministry of Transport of selling a dream without showing the math. No feasibility study, no financial model, no clear idea of how much it will cost or who will pay for it. The ministry claims that 16 operators are already on board, but the BBA says none of them have seen the details, like what kind of buses will be used, how fares will be set, or what kind of return investors can expect. And here's where it gets even more interesting. The government says the plan will work thanks to economies of scale. But the BBA points out that Belize has fewer than 300 buses compared to over 8,000 in Mexico's ADO system, which still charges higher fares. Bus operators say they're not against improving public transport, but they say it must be done right with real data, real planning, and real transparency. So here's the question. Is the government rushing to sell a vision before doing the homework? And if so, who ends up paying the price? Commuters, investors, or both? On Monday's Open Your Eyes morning show, Transport Minister Dr. Louis Zabanes sat down to discuss the government's big plans to overhaul public transportation. But the conversation quickly turned to a key question. Was anyone actually consulted before rolling out this bold new vision? Dr. Zabanet didn't just say yes. He went a step further, naming several bus operators he claims are already backing the idea of a national bus company.
Was there any consultant or was there any expert in the area that was brought in to do an overall study and a feasibility assessment of this particular plan? I ask because when we talk to some of the stakeholders, they're saying, okay, nobody consulted me to find out what my input is on this particular proposal. It seems as if doors just being forced down my throat. And you keep hearing that from individual stakeholders who believe that there ought to be some form of public consultation or stakeholder engagement where this is concerned.
Well, let me address that in two ways. First, I heard your guest last time saying that the Belize, about the 31 of them, and they put out a release the week before, are against the proposal. And we want to, again, make sure that the Belizean public gets accurate. I'll read off to you the ones who are in support. And we were unable to get 5 others over the weekend because we made the calls. The 16 bus operators that I'm going to read off right now comprise over 65% of the market already. Wow. We know that there are at least another 5 who have indicated informally, and we just wanted to verify, so we didn't put their names here. Right? That would take us to 21 out of the 31. And these are some of the largest bus lines. Westline Bus Company, right? Silvers, James. James is the largest, Westline is the second largest. Then Floralia, which has been the most innovative. BEBB line, AJ's, D-Line, RDS, Cabrera, Armstrong, S&B, Paris Transport, Northern Transit, Fui Transport, U Paris Bus Line, V Paris Bus Line.
Coming up, opposition Senator Patrick Faber in hot seat over police confrontation. More when we return.
City, get ready. The Quality Poultry Products 50th anniversary celebration is landing at our North Front Street branch with a massive fair on Saturday, June 28th, starting bright and early at 7:15 a.m. We're bringing the fun with hourly raffles, spin the wheel giveaways, and unbelievable chicken deals. Get 50 cents off per pound on legs and bag, neck and back for just $12 per crate, plus 10% off groceries. Some restrictions apply. And don't miss out on special discounts on Running W and Country Meats. There's tons of fun for the kids too. Ozzy the Clown, face painting, and a bouncy house, and music to keep the vibes high. Join us at Quality Poultry Products Belize City Branch, because this isn't just a fair, it's a celebration of you, our amazing community. Quality Poultry Products, proudly celebrating 50 years of service to Belize.
My name is Carlton Flowers, and I'm the owner of Back to My Roots Art from the Heart. And in this store I produce a lot of handmade ornaments. Before I had access, it was a big problem because the tourist doesn't carry as much cash. We needed to have the machine to make the business a success. Dealing with the machine, I don't have to take time out from the store to go and, or send people to go to the bank. I would recommend Belize Bank digital service because it has done a lot for me personally. It has done a lot for my business. It helps me with paying my bills online, and I really appreciate that the staff took time out and teach me what I needed to get done. So I'm very happy that now I can do it confidently on my own.
Open your Eyes morning show, bringing Belize to you. Our next stop is stunning Placencia. Join us as the country tour continues and we head to the vibrant, sun-kissed shores of Placencia, where the culture is rich, the food is mouth-watering, and the people are full of life. Expect exciting interviews, local highlights, hidden gems, and the warmth that only the South can offer. From beach vibes to village pride, Placencia, we're coming your way. Join us on June 30th at 6:30 a.m. as we bring Belize to you. Only on Open Your Eyes, Start Your Morning Right.
Powered by Digi, or National Telecom.
Welcome to Brody's, your one-stop shop for everything you need. In our grocery store, you'll find the freshest produce, quality meats, and a variety of organic options. Our pharmacy is here for your health needs, with expert pharmacists ready to assist and advise. Trust us for your prescriptions, over-the-counter medications, and wellness products. Discover our department store for a variety of quality products, from the latest fashion trends to appliances and cutting-edge electronics. Enhance your lifestyle with our wide selection of home goods, toys, and more. At Brody's, we bring convenience, quality, and care together, all under one roof. Brody's, your one-stop shop for everything you need. Enjoy shopping at our 3 convenient locations: Brody's Belmopan Store, Northern Superstore, and Albert Store. Service, value, satisfaction.
Are you ready for KTV The Remix Season 7? The stage is set, the lights are on, and the voices are coming back stronger than ever. KTV The Remix Season 7 returns on July 1st, and it's going to be bigger, bolder, and more electrifying. New voices, new talent, fame, iconic showdown. Who will rise? Who will remix? Who will rule the stage? Tuesday, July 1st, the comeback begins. KTV The Remix Season 7, where talent takes the mic.
In our world that's always changing, one thing stays the same.
Our promise as Smart Belize to keep you connected.
Connected to the moments, the people, and the future that matter most.
With every new tower, our service upgrades, and every new smile, we're keeping our promise in building more than a network.
We're building a future, a family as Smart Belize. From Punta Gorda to Corozal, we are here not just as a network, but as your partner in progress.
We have grown significantly over the past 20 years, and we just keep growing. Thank you for placing your trust in us. We remain dedicated to providing meaningful connections that bring value in every way that matters to you. We continue to bring people together.
Former Collet area representative Patrick Faber is headed to trial. He's facing charges of obstruction and aggravated assault against a police officer, charges that stem from an early morning traffic stop back in April. Faber appeared in court today with attorney O.J. Elrington, where he received full disclosure in the case, including 23 pages and a CD of evidence. The trial is set for September 16th. But what exactly happened that night? According to police, it started with a routine checkpoint and ended with a confrontation that's now landed a former government minister in legal hot water. Mike Parafit is back at the helm of the United Democratic Party, stepping once again into the role of chairman. But his return raises more questions than answers. Just a few months ago, Parafit resigned, only 6 days after the UDP suffered a crushing defeat in the March 12th general elections. His departure didn't calm the storm within the party. In fact, tensions have only worsened, with last weekend's failed National Party Council meeting marking a new low. So why is he back? According to Parafit, both sides of the divided party reached out to him, urging him to return. They believe he might be the one to help heal the rift and guide the party toward unity and strong leadership. Initially hesitant, Parafit says he ultimately felt a duty to return for the sake of the party he loves.
Well, on March 18th, I resigned as chairman. I thought that my absence would be in the best interest of the party going forward at that point. And since events that took place recently and before, both factions, if you could call it that, within the party reached out to me and indicated to me that they would like for me to rescind my resignation because they believe that at this point I could be of some assistance to have the party proceed in a way to have us heal and to have us have definitive leadership and for us to move forward. Naturally, I initially resisted, but in the best interest of the party that I love and I want to see move forward, I think it was important that if my colleagues were asking me to return, then I was obligated as a service to the party to come back and see if I can help with that process. So I agreed. I've presented to the parties involved that I have a certain vision and a way that I think we can solve the issues of the party going forward. We're in discussion with those, and we will see where it goes. And I am fully prepared to take charge of the party, so to speak, up until the point where we have a national convention and the people of the party can vote on who they want to be their substantive leader, first deputy, second deputy, chairman, and vice chairman at the very least.
Mike Parafit says he's back as UDP chairman with the full support of the party's top brass. He's spoken to all three key figures, though he stopped short of saying they urged him to return. Still, he insists their backing is clear. But what does that really mean? Parafit paints a hopeful picture. He says there's been a wave of positivity and that discussions are underway to chart a new path forward. He's optimistic that the party can resolve its internal strife soon. Yet he's also leaving the door open. If things don't go as promised, he says he won't hesitate to walk away again.
I can tell you that all three of them fully support me coming back as chairman. I spoke to all of them yesterday and again today, and all three of them. I won't go as far as to say that I was encouraged by them to come back to help with this process, but that to me is just a matter of details. We are in current discussions about how we go forward. I think there is a lot of positivity that was expressed to me yesterday and today, and I look forward to us solving this in the very, very near future. And hey, if it doesn't work out, I can always resign again, because if I believe that we're not moving in a direction that I've been promised we will be moving, then I reserve the right to say, well, I thought I was coming into an environment where we all accepted that we all go where each of us go, and we all are to be blamed for whatever is wrong with the party, just like we are all to be given credit for what's right about the party. It's a collective responsibility. When I speak to UDP people who genuinely care for this party, none of them give a damn, about who wants to call themselves whatever. What they want is to see their party heal. I will not entertain the media by giving some sort of some bite that could lead to some mischief. We don't need that anymore. We have an NPC, the NPC will make decisions, and sure enough, it is my hope and expectation that in just a few short months, we will know exactly who the UDP leader will be, because we will go on a course that everybody will be on board with and everybody will pledge to accept the result of.
Mike Parafit is calling for unity, but not necessarily harmony within the United Democratic Party. In his words, the UDP doesn't need to hold hands and sing Kumbaya, but it does need to get serious about its role as the opposition. He's urging party members to put aside personal and petty differences for the greater good of Belize. But here's the catch. Parafit admits that everyone, himself included, may have played a part in the party's current struggles. His message is clear. If the UDP wants to move forward, it must first look inward. When asked whether his return as chairman might lead to a Senate seat, Parafit shut that down quickly.
We have to be much better. And the love of our party and knowing that a viable UDP is in the best interest of Belize, those two things override any issues, whether personal or petty, that anybody may have with each other. Those things we don't have to hold hands and sing Kumbaya, but we have to understand the importance of the role of the opposition. And we have to understand that we may have all been at fault in terms of where the UDP is now, but we have to move forward. And we have to check ourselves, all of us, and decide that if we want to move forward, this is how we'll have to be.
Since it's all hands on deck and all the best hands on deck, we know you are skilled as a debater in the parliament. Should you be rewarded with a senatorial post to return to the Senate?
We don't play games, or at least I don't play games with posts that are serious like this. That's serious business. Discussing parliamentary business is serious business, and that discussion has not come up.
But you do it well.
I did not. I do a lot of things well. I did not come back as chairman as some quid pro quo in any way. And I came back out of the love of the United Democratic Party. And I'm telling you this, and I can say this to you, I come back very reluctantly. But they know my weakness, and my weakness is the love of my party and the love of my country.
After hearing from Parafit this afternoon, here are a few important questions. Is Parafit's return a real turning point or just a temporary patch? Can the UDP truly move forward if its leadership remains uncertain and conditional? And what does it say about the party's stability if its chairman is already talking about resigning again? After the break, a look at the market culture in Belize City. But first, here's the latest weather update from the Belize Met Service.
La Isla Bonita. Get ready. Quality Poultry Products San Pedro branch is throwing a 50th anniversary fair you won't want to miss. Join us on Saturday, June 28th from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. for a full day of fun, flavor, and fantastic deals. Spin the wheel for your chance to win, win, win. Plus, enjoy discounts everywhere you turn. Score special discounts on country meats and running W products. And don't miss out on free samples bursting with flavor. Bring the whole family and soak up the good vibes with vibrant music, hourly raffles, and giveaways all day long. And of course, amazing chicken deals. Get 50 cents off per pound legs and bag, neck and back just $12 per crate, and 10% off groceries. Some restrictions apply. It's not just a fair, it's a celebration of 50 years of serving Belize. And you are the reason we're here.
Shop smart for your Samsung devices in Belize and enjoy benefits you won't get anywhere else. When you shop locally for your Samsung, all your devices will be covered by a 1-year local warranty. You won't get that when shopping with the other guys. When in doubt, always look for the Cellular World seal to know you're getting the real deal. Shop with confidence and enjoy your Galaxy knowing that it can be repaired locally at our Samsung Service Center by certified Samsung technicians using original parts and machinery. Even better, enjoy the best LTE experience in Belize, knowing that your Samsung devices are compatible with major local carrier networks. Get the ultimate Samsung Galaxy experience only when you shop from authorized Samsung resellers nationwide.
Veracidad, imparcialidad.
Este es el término utilizado.
Hemos estado haciendo el trabajo como organización.
Y tus noticias en español.
Están en aguas beliceñas, entonces esta bandera se queda aquí.
Sintoniza Canal 5 cada viernes a las 7 de la noche.
Tenemos que resolver dos grandes problemas de este país.
Su voz importa, su acción cuenta.
Transfusión sanguínea, elementos que indican un deterioro evidente del estado de salud.
Somos Noticiero 5 semanal.
Perdió la vida en un heroico intento de proteger a su hermano. El Tribunal de Magistrados de la ciudad de Belice se paralizó. La policía está investigando 2 asesinatos separados.
Tu fuente de información.
You ready for KTV The Remix Season 7? The stage is set, the lights are on, and the voices are coming back stronger than ever. KTV The Remix Season 7 returns on July 1st, and it's going to be bigger, bolder, and more electrifying. New voices, new talent, same iconic showdown. Who will rise? Who will remix? Who will rule the stage? Tuesday, July 1st, the comeback begins. KTV, The Remix Season 7, where talent takes the mic.
Electricity is evolving, and BEL is leading the way with smarter connections across Belize. Meet AMI, Advanced Metering Infrastructure. It's not just a meter, it's a smarter way to manage power. Smart meters record your energy use in real time and securely send the data to BEL,
Key customer benefits include real-time insights into energy usage, improved home energy planning, integration of solar, battery, and EV technologies, and innovative customer service solutions. Get ready! AMI is coming soon to municipalities across Belize, including the Keys, to give you more control and reliability. BEL, bringing you a brighter tomorrow.
Stop wasting your time and money. Come to Publix, where every dollar counts. So why shop anywhere else? Find the freshest fruits and vegetables handpicked for your family. Need something quick and delicious? Our ready-made rotisserie chicken is hot and ready to go. And with Publix Rewards, you'll save big while shopping for everything you love and need. Publix, fresh, affordable, for you.
Serving Belizean families for 27 years.
Whether you're prepping for Sunday dinner or stocking up for your restaurant's next big dish, there's one place Belizeans know they can count on: the market. It's more than just a shopping trip, it's a cultural experience. Every week, hundreds of people head to their local market, weaving through stalls in search of the freshest produce and the best bargains. In tonight's edition of Culture Tuesday, we take you into the heart of the Michael Finnegan Market in Belize City, where the hustle is real and the culture is alive. News 5's Paul Lopez has the story.
The Michael Finnegan Market was officially opened back in November 2010. Since then, the space has provided a sociable environment for commerce in the old capital. Consuelo Estrada has been a butcher for the past 3 decades. She has a meat shop inside the market where she is training her children in the trade.
I started business with my husband in 1994 in Guatalian, but then we separated, and then I opened my business in our market for 2004. And then, and then when my kids done big, when they help me with work, yes. I think I have in my blood that because my daddy, the family from my daddy's side, then do the same work.
And so you learned, you saw?
Yes, I think that's, I do different business, but never like this one, like sell meat.
Consuelo's son, Jorge Castillo, is among the employees in the shop who interact with customers daily. He grew up watching his mother provide for him and his siblings through her work as a butcher. He now understands the business well enough to take the lead.
We sell here beef, pork, lamb, and we also make some of the best sausage in the country, right? I believe so because I hear a lot of comments that people say, wow, not even in other countries like Guatemala and so El Salvador, people said their boys they come. We they are from the last market when they are first. Yeah, before you get renovated. I think that since 2004. Wow. Yes.
Almost 2 decades.
Yes, sir. My mother started the business. It was just one lease stall.
Really?
Yes, sir. And then we come up a long way, and we're there to how we're there now, right? She's a successful woman, and I try to catch some of the advice and some of the values that she have now.
It is common for market vendors to choose their successors from among their children. In some cases, only one child will gravitate towards the business. In other instances, the entire family plays a role. 12-year-old Lipney Chavez is out sick from school today, but in her family, no free time is wasted. She spent the morning babysitting her little brother at the market while her father sold his fresh produce. Lipney and her family migrated from Salvador to seek better opportunities in Belize. How long have you been doing this with your dad?
Like 6 years.
6 years you've been doing it?
Now this year that come, that is 7 years. Now I have 7 years.
What do you enjoy about doing this with your father?
I don't know, it feels kind of fun when I'm helping my dad and mom.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. What are you in charge of? What do you do in the operation?
Well, sometimes I watch my libretto and I stay at home, and then I go to school.
Okay.
Because I may have an auntie, but she done gone. She made her watch my libretto, but she done gone to her country.
For the past 7 years, her father, Neri Chavez, has been setting up shop at the market days every Tuesday and Saturday. On those days, vendors without a permanent location inside the facility are allowed to sell outside of the market. Chavez vends an assortment of items from fresh onions to beans, potatoes, watermelon, cilantro, sweet pepper, and the list continues. We met him packing up his goods to leave the area because market day on Tuesday ends at 10 a.m. After that time, the street must be cleared for motorists.
I just want my dad to get while he rests and make I help him more with the work, make he take while he break. I have a lot of friends. I have friends at Publix because I go to Publix sometimes to sell donuts.
So you are a little entrepreneur yourself. Tell me a bit about your business.
Well, sometimes they pay me when my auntie was here. I always may go with she to Publix go sell donuts.
Yeah.
But she done gone, so I don't go a lot of times. I don't know if I will go today, but I don't know.
And while Lipney decided whether or not she wants to sell her donuts at Publix later today, we spoke to a husband and wife couple from Valley of Peace. Norman Soy and his wife sells freshly squeezed orange juice. Since they began 5 years ago, the couple has added a number of other products to their inventory. But their primary sales come from bottled orange juice and coconut water.
Well, for me, it's better right here because we don't got a market the Balapan, but it's kind of slow and they don't got much people right there. So, yeah, sometimes you sell and sometimes you don't sell, right? Yeah, that's why I rather come way up, yeah, the Belize City.
What do you like about being out here? Is there any joy to this?
Well, I love Belize City. So, a lot of people, have fun with people, talk funny things and talk about our business, knowing people.
Reporting for News 5, I am Paul Lopez.
When we return, study shows Belize's economy hasn't progressed in 20 years.
Fellow Belizeans, today we join the world in observing World Environment Day 2025 under the urgent theme, Ending Plastic Pollution. This theme calls on each of us to recognize the critical threat that plastic pollution poses to our environment, our health, and our economy. In Belize, our beautiful Caribbean Sea, rivers, forests, and communities are under pressure from plastic waste that takes hundreds of years to break down, polluting our ecosystems and endangering wildlife. But this is a challenge we can overcome together. The government of Belize, through my Ministry of Sustainable Development, Climate Change and Solid Waste Management, remains committed to strengthening policies that reduce single-use plastics, promoting sustainable alternatives, and supporting community-driven solutions. But we need everyone, businesses, schools, families, and individuals to be part of the solution. Let us all make conscious choices. Refuse single-use plastics, support local eco-friendly businesses, and advocate for clean, plastic-free environments in our homes and communities. Together, we can beat plastic pollution and protect our jewel for generations to come. Happy World Environment Day 2025.
Are you ready for KTV The Remix Season 7? The The stage is set, the lights are on, and the voices are coming back stronger than ever. KTV The Remix Season 7 returns on July 1st, and it's going to be bigger, bolder, and more electrifying. New voices, new talent, fame, iconic showdown. Who will rise? Who will remix? Who will rule the stage? Tuesday, July 1st, the comeback begins. KTV The Remix Season 7, where talent takes the mic.
Unwrap the joy of crystal clear picture and sound from Aiwa, the brand that offers you affordability and exceptional quality. Aiwa has a wide range of exceptional products to choose from, such as TVs, speakers, headphones, home appliances, and much more at affordable prices that won't break the bank. Enhance your audio-visual entertainment experience with Aiwa, and for your convenience, parts are readily available in country for hassle-free maintenance. You can find Aiwa products at your local electronics store countrywide. Choose Aiwa, the best in home entertainment and household appliances.
In our world that's always changing, one thing stays the same.
Our promise as Smart Belize to keep you connected.
Connected to the moments, the people, and the future that matter most.
With every new tower, our service upgrades, and every new smile, we're keeping our promise in building more than a network.
We're building a future, a family as Smart Belize. From Punta Gorda to Corozal, we are here not just as a network, but as your partner in progress.
We have grown significantly over the past 20 years, and we just keep growing. Thank you for placing your trust in us. We remain dedicated to providing meaningful connections that bring value in every way that matters to you. We continue to bring people together.
This morning, the University of Belize turned the spotlight on the nation's economy, past, present, and future. At a special policy research seminar, renowned economics professor Victor Bulmer Thomas unveiled a thought-provoking paper titled The Belizean Economy in the 21st Century: When and Why Belize Fell Behind, and What to Do About It. The study dives deep into Belize's economic journey and lays out bold, long-term strategies for turning things around. So where did we go off track, and how do we get back on it? News 5's Brittany Gordon has the story.
Belize's economy may be bouncing back, but is it really catching up? In 2020, the COVID-19 pandemic brought tourism to a standstill and sent the economy into a sharp decline. Fast forward 5 years, and the government is celebrating an impressive 8.2 GDP growth in 2024, second highest in the region. But a new study is raising eyebrows. Economist Victor Bulmer Thomas says that despite the recovery, Belize still ranks as the third poorest country in the region. His message: the numbers may look good, but they're hiding a much deeper problem.
I then asked the question of, well, why? What has happened that might have brought that about? And I focused on three things in particular. One is exports, which are really not high enough for a country that like Belize, and which aspires to have a higher standard of living. The second was the low investment ratio, particularly by the private domestic investors who face all sorts of difficulties in trying to compete with the foreign investors, for example. And the third thing was the issue of government spending. Government spending really needs to be higher because Belize faces a huge deficit in terms of education, health, all those sorts of things which are needed to bring the standard of living higher. But to increase government spending, there has to be an increase in government revenue.
Using data from the Statistical Institute of Belize and the Central Bank, economist Victor Bulmer Thomas found that Belize's income per capita in 2024 is nearly the same as it was in 2007, meaning living standards haven't really improved. He suggests that the government could boost revenue by cracking down on tax evasion instead of raising taxes. Dr. Dylan Vernon from the Belize Policy Research Institute says the country still faces major economic challenges.
There has been a decrease in living standards and indicates that we are comparatively in decline on that metric. So the paper basically highlighted that. It told us why, which is basically the fact that we have low investment, we have an export situation where we're not exporting enough, importing too much, and so that contributes to the issue.
According to the study, Belize's position has also declined in Central America over the past few decades.
I'm not going to single out any country in particular, but given that there are 34 countries in the Caribbean, if you include all the non-independent ones, 16 independent and 18 non-independent, all of them trying to export services like Belize, there are many, many examples of successful service exports, not just tourism, which Belize could look to try and diversify its economy and raise its standard of living.
Could a data-driven strategy be the key to unlocking Belize's economic potential? A new study thinks so. It recommends that Belize start using something called the input-output matrix, a tool that tracks how goods and services move between industries.
We will be making, in fact, we are making the paper that was presented accessible, free of cost, downloadable on the website of the University of Belize, on the page for Belpre. And also we have done a couple flyers that break down the information for wider access. But the most important thing that Belpre will be doing now is to advocate for use of this input-output approach as a policy-making tool for Belize.
Belpre hopes to share this information with relevant stakeholders and the public to fuel the mission for a more robust and sustainable economy. Brittany Gordon for News 5.
The study is free to download on the University of Belize's website. Turning 40 never looked so good, especially if you're the Organization of Insurance Companies of Belize, better known as ORINCO. This week, the group marked 4 decades of service to the country's insurance industry. Since its founding in 1985, ORINCO has worked to bring Belize's licensed insurance companies under one umbrella. And today, it stands as a trusted voice in the sector. The milestone was celebrated this morning with a special ceremony at the Atlantic Insurance Tower, where we heard from ORINCO President Norman Moore.
We're celebrating 40 years of unified collaboration with all the insurance companies here. ORINCO came about because the domestic insurers wanted a voice, a unified voice in the insurance market at that time. So it was established in 1985, and actually I am a second generation family member of the ORINCO. From Home Protector, it's a family-owned company, just as ICB and RF&G. But again, it was a united front by all insurers at that time. So I mean, we're competitors in the market, but at the same time, we unified together to collaborate and to try to move the insurance industry forward.
How has the industry transformed since the establishment of Orinco 40 years ago, and what does the future look like?
Well, I mean, 40 years ago, it's a vast change. Honestly, on the technological front, we can see the implementation of more data sharing, and that's what we're moving forward to as Orinco. We want to share our data, and I believe, well, Andrew would speak a little bit more on that part.
Yeah, and the future?
And the future of Orinco, again, we're setting up this organization to fully move forward and still continue with the collaboration and the unity between all insurers in the market, in the Belize market.
Today, the Organization of Insurance Companies of Belize announced the establishment of a game-changing approach to identifying reckless drivers and fraudsters. It is being called a claims bank. Licensed insurance companies will be able to share their customers' claims on this database, making it easier for a competing company to identify individuals that make frequent claims. Companies can then decide to increase their premiums or flag them for possible fraud. Orinco's secretary, Andrew Rowe, told us more.
The members of Orinco who do motor insurance are currently investing in what's called a claims bank. And what that is a database where we will be able to share all of the motor claims data that each of the insurance companies has. What that will mean for consumers is, at the moment, we rely heavily on trust. So we trust that the customers are providing us with accurate information about their driving history and maybe their claims history. This claims bank will allow us to validate that information, to confirm whether or not somebody is a good driver. From an underwriting point of view, insurance companies will be able to have greater insight into the customer's driving history and should be able to make a better decision on how to price that product. In some cases, if you're a good driver, you might be able to see benefits in reduction of premiums. In other cases, if you're not a great driver and you've been telling insurance companies that you are, and maybe you've been hopping around from insurance company to insurance company, they will know. Those people's prices will go up, and so what at the end of the day we seek to accomplish is to make the rating in these insurance products for motor more specific. So those who are good drivers should not suffer as much any longer for those who are bad drivers. That's the first part. The second part is fraud detection. Fraud in insurance, in motor insurance, is prevalent. Fraud at the end of the day costs everybody, not just the insurance companies, because when the insurance companies are defrauded, premiums have to be collected from the customers. Reducing that instance of fraud, being able to identify fraudsters within the system and removing them from the system and taking action to prevent them from committing fraud any longer will help the industry, and it will help customers at the end of the day by making sure they're not carrying the cost of fraud within their insurance premiums.
And tonight, there is big news coming out of RF&G Insurance Company Limited. The 61-year-old company is now exporting its services to St. Lucia and St. Vincent. Managing Director at the company, Andrew Rowe, told us about this latest move.
In the late 2010s, RF&G's board and shareholders made the decision that we would expand out into the Caribbean region, and that's specifically into the Eastern Caribbean. COVID did throw a little bit of a delay into it, but in 2023, RF&G was successful in acquiring a company that is domiciled in St. Lucia and also operates in St. Vincent. The company is called M&C General Insurance. Now what that means is RF&G has been able to hone in a system of operating an insurance company here in Belize that we feel is effective and profitable. We've now been able to export that structure into St. Lucia and St. Vincent, which means that our intention is that we are able to grow that business in those markets. And for Belize, we often hear about exporting raw products, we're exporting agricultural products and that sort of thing. This is an exportation of a service. The people who work for RF&G are now engaged in operations in other countries. They're learning new cultures, they're learning new ways of doing things, and it has created employment for RF&G. Many people may see RF&G's advertising for new people. Part of that is because we have expanded into another country and we need people who can help provide the services in St. Lucia, in St. Vincent from Belize, and that is only expected to continue to grow.
Up next, public service workers celebrated amid mounting chaos.
Measles is a virus that is highly infectious and spreads through the air when an infected person coughs or sneezes. It often starts with a fever, cough, runny nose, and red, watery eyes, followed by a rash that spreads all over the body. Measles can cause serious complications. But here's the good news. Measles is preventable. The safest and most effective way to protect your child is through vaccination. The MMR vaccine is safe and available at your nearest health centers and clinics. Let's keep our families and communities safe. Get vaccinated. Stay protected. Brought to you by the Ministry of Health and Wellness in partnership with PAHO and UNICEF.
Make light work lighter and quicker with switch technology from Axi Power Tools. Axi Switch technology breaks the bondage of power cords and grants you the luxury of freedom and precision. Switch one battery across all your Axi line power tools effortlessly, allowing for quick and efficient work. Cut the cords. Choose efficiency with Axi Switch technology. Only at Benny's. Quality and savings.
Let's take a journey through the core functions of the Social Security Board. It all starts with registering as an insured person, employer, or self-employed individual. Sign up for a portal account to manage your Social Security information online. Just provide accurate information and click Create. This will give you access to a range of services and benefits. Next, your contribution, along with investments and other income, are collected and distributed into 3 funds. This ensures that the SSB fund is securely utilized to support various benefit programs. The SSB is committed to providing essential benefits such as sickness, maternity, injury, and pension. These benefits are paid out to eligible individuals as a part of the Social Security coverage. We help you navigate through life's challenges with financial security. Annual surplus accumulates to grow the fund each year. This surplus is invested into various industries, contributing to the growth and development of our nation. With each passing year, the fund continues to grow due to the annual surplus and interest revenue earned from prudent investments. This surplus, along with reserves, helps to bolster the SSB fund and provide a safety net for those in need. We've arrived at the end of our journey to better understanding how the SSB works. We remain committed to serving you and building a secure future for all Belizeans.
Wake
after week, Scold presents exciting reports and documentaries on the most varied topics of our time. Spectacular developments and innovations, lifestyle and trends of tomorrow, mobility and tourism, health news, highlights from art and culture. Each contribution grabs the viewer with extraordinary images and stories and takes him into fascinating worlds which he experiences here exclusively and up close. We're there when companies and specialists develop super satellites for a global network in space and can look behind the scenes. Scold is a window to everything that is there or is yet to come. Fly with us through time to better understand today and tomorrow. You've always wanted that. Scold, a look into the future.
In our world that's always changing, one thing stays the same.
Our promise as Smart Belize to keep you connected.
Connected to the moments, the people, and the future that matter most.
With every new tower, our service upgrades, and every new smile, we're keeping our promise in building more than a network.
We're building a future, a family as Smart Belize. From Punta Gorda to Caraza, we are here not just as a network, but as your partner in progress.
We have grown significantly over the past 20 years, and we just keep growing. Thank you for placing your trust in us. We remain dedicated to providing meaningful connections that bring value in every way that matters to you. We continue to bring people together.
Even as tensions rise between the joint union negotiating team and the government of Belize, the Ministry of Public Service is keeping the party going. Despite ongoing protests, sickouts, and even a formal trade dispute over salary increases, the ministry went ahead with its Public Service Worker Appreciation Day. That's right, while union members are demanding an 8.5% raise and warning of a possible strike, public officers from across the country gathered today for a celebration filled with prizes, surprises, and motivational speeches. So is this a moment of gratitude or a distraction from the storm? News 5 takes a closer look, starting with Freya August, chair of the Public Service Day National Committee.
We had a national walk, so the public officers coming from north, south, east and west, including San Pedro, came here to walk to celebrate the fact that we are proud to be public officers. This is a part of the ongoing celebration, as you've said, in celebrating Public Service Day. This year actually makes 20 years since Belize has signed on to the United Nations Public Service Day. So we wanted to do a different event as opposed to public officers walking in their individual districts. We asked them to all come to Belmopan and walk together.
And what's the theme that you guys are celebrating under this year?
5 years to 2030, accelerating public service delivery for a sustainable future. That theme was adopted from the UN. Each year we would normally have a theme competition, and that would be among the public officers. However, this year for the milestone we decided to have a poster competition.
And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available at greaterbelize.com, on our Facebook and on YouTube. I'm Sabrina Daly. Thanks for joining us. And from all of us here at News 5, good night.